Call the Kitty Hawk Town Council to order Monday, March the 4th, 2013. Kitty Hawk Town Hall at 6 p.m. Want to welcome everyone out tonight and thank you for coming. After you join in a moment of silence and Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, next is approval of the agenda. Do we have any changes to the agenda?
If no changes, I move for approval.
Second.
Okay, any comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Next is public comment. And David Hunt, I believe you're on the list for speak.
My name is David Hunt. I'm a business owner and a resident here in the town of Kitty Hawk. And I thank the mayor and the town council for allowing me this time to talk to you. I'm here representing myself and some of the other business owners here in Kitty Hawk that I've been talking with. And many of us agree that the current code covering the open signs is not giving some businesses the exposure they need to properly inform the general public of their open or closed status. The current code allows for one neon open sign not larger than 2 square feet, which is approximately this size. So regardless of the size of the business and how many exterior walls it has, according to the current code, it's only allowed one open sign. Many businesses like Hurricane Mo's and others have exposure on more than one side, so they have to decide if they want to have it inform the eastbound traffic or the westbound traffic as far as their open status. Other businesses such as La Fagata and the shops at Pirates Walk are set back far from the road that a single 2-foot sign cannot adequately be seen by prospective customers. I'm not asking the town of Kitty Hawk be turned into Las Vegas or Times Square, but businesses are having enough trouble getting customers. I discussed this with Mr. Hurd and Mr. Alexander. Mr. Hurd explained that to change the existing code would require a text amendment. So I understand that not much can be done here tonight, but I do want to explain our position, perhaps make a suggestion for a new guideline. I feel that a code of a total of up to 2 signs with a total of up to 4 square feet would be a great help to the businesses in the town of Kitty Hawk and not change the small town appeal that everyone in Kitty Hawk values so much. Thank you for your time. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, might just suggest to you that you just go back to Mr. Hurd, and if you want to pursue it,
Yeah.
go through the planning board and come back through the.
He explained that to me.
Okay.
That's why I came here and just give him my
Okay.
opinion.
How many square feet was that?
2. It's a little bit
That's
less than 2, but the code says no larger than 2 square feet.
So
That's-
basically it would double
Yeah.
and add 2.
Up to 2 signs, up to 4 square feet. So if someone would have one larger sign, that would be okay.
And that has to be inside the building, right?
Correct, it's
Okay.
all inside the building,
Through the window.
yeah.
That's fine. I just want to get a perspective.
Anybody else?
Any other
Okay.
questions? Thank you for the
I
time.
got a question to Joe, but I'll ask him later on, I guess.
Lynn, anybody else sign up to speak?
Yes, sir. Sandra Stanley.
Good evening, Town Council. I'm Sandra Stanley. I live over in Sand Dollar Circle here in Kitty Hawk. I'd like to just, I think you have some handouts, and it's excerpts from the 2 meetings from a year ago concerning the garage that is now in Quail Run. These are to underscore my concern here. The incident which precipitated my bringing this to your attention tonight is very quickly as follows. One afternoon last week, I was taking my dog out for his afternoon walk, heard the pneumatic tools go, isn't this on? You
Can't hear you.
Oh. I guess it's, can you hear me now?
Okay.
Okay. Taking my dog out in the afternoon and heard the pneumatic tools going in the garage in front of me on Quail Run. Also heard some other kind of scraping, I don't know what it was. So I walked down around and said to the person who was working in the bay door, he was on the outside, whatever he was working on was stretched across the front of the bay, and was some kind of, all I could think of like a drilling metal on metal kind of sound. But also in the back, in the garage, actually in the garage was the pneumatic tools. And so I said to the young fellow at the front of the garage, you know, doors are supposed to be closed during this period of time, you know, because of the noise, and he kind of didn't know. So he asked if I'd like to speak to the owner, which I did. Mr. Brown came out, and I proceeded to tell him, I'm hearing, you know, this really right in the back, and this is, you know, if you could please close the doors or, you know, deal with it. Well, I was then told that he hears noise from our neighborhood occasionally, and yes, we're a community. We do have grass mowing in the summer. We just had septic systems cleaned. These are normal residential noises. It's not like people are back there banging around. He also then proceeded to tell me that the town, if I'm concerned about this, the town should have bought, not the town, Sandpiper K should have bought that parcel of land in front, because why would I buy a building or a home right behind a commercial building? This was all turned then on me. So I didn't have enough forethought for that. And then he said to me, he doesn't have to have the doors closed. Well, this is what basically these handouts are about, dating back to November of 2011, and December, the meetings, the town meetings. So this then proceeded to, I'm on private property. And that he had seen me, now he has cameras mounted for surveillance, which I think is very practical. He, quote, accused me of being back there with a man and walking my dog and trying to get into his business. And I said, so first of all, I always walk my dog alone. And I'm quite aware that there are surveillance cameras there. Then after that, I believe, is when he told me, you know, you're on private property. I could call the police on you. So anyway, that's why I'm here tonight. I'm not here representing the community. I'm representing myself. And if you want to care to look at the printouts, there's very little. At the bottom of the first one of November 7th, he's telling me, this is Mr. Brown speaking, the air compressor generates the most amount of noise. The next page turned over, most of the repairs really do not generate any noise these days, but at below there, highlighted a bit of customization, in which case we will close the doors front and back. That's on page 8. That's it for the November 11th meeting. The approval meeting of December 5th, 2011. Again, I think this is Mr. Brown. What he sees to be this, to go around, is the noise levels. I can definitely appreciate that they will be concerned about that, meaning Sandpiper K. If there were very loud noise levels, then yes, it could reduce property values. We could have noise. Next page, 21. Me saying, I'm the person who initially heard the noises coming from there before they had approval to open the garage. Then again, a little bit farther down, Mr. Brown, you apologized the last time to me personally, and you said that you were sorry to hear that I was hearing the noise. Down to me again. They were not compressors. They were pneumatic tools. And at the last meeting, Mr. Brown apologized for that. There's again, apologies, apologies. Next page. This is where Mr. Reed moves to grant the approval of the conditional use permit. Next page. The item number 5, the hours shall be limited to 8 to 5 p.m. This past summer, I did have occasion. One Saturday in particular, there was a gentleman in there working. It must have been at least 8:30, 9 o'clock, because I walked him later in that evening. And he was very kind, and the people I've dealt with have always been, if I see them when I walk through, you know, very kind and say hello. And I've never been, you know, called the police on me or told me I was on private property. Okay, so this number 6, this is from Mr. Reed in the proposed amendment. While the repairs are taking place, the building shall be closed. And there is some language in the application, in the applicant's presentation, that was and confirms that that would be acceptable. Okay, then we go over to next page 29 at the bottom, Mr. Reed, and then he's explaining about the what repairs being taking place, the door shall be closed, and that he apparently, Mr. Brown, in his initial application, at the very bottom says, in part, is part of the application. So this is all referring to Mr. Brown ensuring that, you know, he was going to close doors. This was in his initial application, etc. Next, page 30, at the very bottom, a discussion between among Ms. Klutz, Mayor Perry, and Brown concerning the sounds. Mayor Perry, you say about keeping the doors open in good weather and when they're not making a lot of noise, the doors could be open. At the bottom, Mr. Brown, I know if it is a particular noisemaker, then I will require my mechanic to close the doors just to get that part of the job done, and then it can be reopened. Last page, 31. Mr. Reed, number 6 says that about the repairs taking place, the building shall be closed. Then you ask, will we say the back door shall be closed? And then you can see Ms. Klutz, Mayor Perry, the back door. And if you want to add the front doors during noisy operations, I'm not sure what MPT Perry stands for, but just go with the back door. I don't know why that was just the back door for noisy repairs. Then Ms. Klutz says about, you know, I have to feel like the owner of a business has seen you would be upsetting neighbors with potential noise. It would be a good business decision to make sure when you are making a lot of noise that you close the front door. Mr. Brown, I really do not want to step on anyone's toes. I think he spells out pretty well what he intends when he's here at the meeting, but what he's actually doing, I was just appalled when I wasn't being rude, I wasn't screaming at him. And the thing about private property, the last, 10 days perhaps, on each of the dumpsters at either end of the Quail Run, there's the fencing around each dumpster, and there's just last 10 days or so, a little sign that says private property. And when I saw that, I thought, well, that's like Gable's Way and like we in Sandpiper Cave, you have a sign at the dumpster, meaning, you know, people are not allowed to come in and dump their trash. I assumed that's what that was. But apparently, that's, he also said there's no through traffic, and I told him, well, I'm not traffic. But the private property that's been hammered onto these wooden fences, apparently that means I'm no longer welcome, or anybody can walk through there. But when if you would see that, you'd think, oh, this is for their private use, the dumpster. But anyway, that's where he admonished me that I could call the cops on you. So I'm just concerned if he feels now that at the second round of expanding his business, perhaps he feels that he doesn't need to abide by the initial conditions that were put in place, and he just feels very confident. And I certainly don't feel threatened, but I don't feel intimidated very easily. So I can come up with him on any level. But I just think it's very, he's not complying with things. At least, and this was my whole concern. When I brought this up, I was the initial person who got Sandpiper K rolling because of the noise factor. And then it broadened to include all the other issues, which I think are vitally important as well for all of us. Anyway, thanks for all your time. I appreciate it. And I just would, if you could offer any advice or look into this. I don't think he's meeting that condition. Perhaps that's just me. Thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else, Lynn?
No one else has signed up.
You want to speak?
Yes.
Good evening. Hi. My name is Linda Corson, and I live here in Kitty Hawk. And I came tonight because I feel there's a safety issue here at the municipal property. My granddaughter and my dog like to come here and park at the upper parking lot here. And you have where the doggy station is and run down or walk one side or the other. It's very nice. Thank you for that, putting the doggy station there. But as cars are coming down, there's a curve and it's a little hill, and they cannot see us till they're around, and we can't see them till we're almost on top of each other, which is kind of scary at times. So what I propose that you would think about either putting a stop sign or just a road bump there so that it slows the cars down that are coming around the bend, so that people that are a little bit further down on the road, on the upper parking lot, have time to know their cars are coming, and they have time to know that there's people down there and they're not coming so fast around that bend.
Is that when you're coming into the?
Yes, as you come in,
when-
because
when you're
right, when you
right-
go out, there's no problem, you're going up the other way, but it's coming in and you can't see the cars, because if you're a little bit further down in the middle, you can't see them till they're almost on top of you, because of the bend. And then that kind of gives them some momentum too, they're coming down a hill and so it's a very nice area, and I would hate to stop coming. And by seeing I think other people use it too, because I can see doggy bags, and it's a nice area. It's very nice that you have that there, and I'd like to be able to use it safely. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Consent agenda? Have a motion for consent agenda?
Motion to approve as promulgated.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Items removed from consent agenda, we don't have any of those. Reports and general comments from the town manager.
Mayor, I have a few items here. Just wanted to mention that we have been notified by the North Carolina Department of Insurance Office of State Fire Marshal that the Kitty Hawk Fire Department has met the state's minimum requirements for a rated and certified department. Notification indicated by meeting the North Carolina Department of Insurance requirements for a rated and certified department, you are upgrading your total fire protection for your citizens, as well as creating a safer environment for your personnel. We recently received a letter from Fire Chief Kevin Zork of the Nags Head Fire Department. He wanted to thank our fire department for assisting in a structural fire that occurred on February 2nd of this year in Nags Head. And during the incident, the firefighters experienced LP gas tank explosions, mitigated adjacent structural involvement, extinguished a fire-impinged boat, and conducted precautionary evacuations of nearby residents. Fire Chief Zork said that the Kitty Hawk Fire Department provided the professionalism and efforts needed when the emergency fully challenged their resources. I also wanted to mention that we've been notified by the state of North Carolina that we'll be receiving a check for $123,903 due to our claims from Hurricane Sandy. This is 75% of the $165,204 that we applied for reimbursement from the state as a result of the Hurricane Sandy.
That is 75% of.
75% of the $165,204, yes, sir. One other thing that I had not listed, I had been requested by our Public Works Director if we could get approval for a quotation that he received for installing guardrail on West Eckner Street and Bay Drive and West Tateway Road. The cost of the guardrail is $14,457, and the funds, if approved, would come from the POW bill account. If council would approve that, then he could proceed to go ahead and have that work done.
West Eckner and.
West Eckner Street and Bay Drive and West Tateway Road.
Is the one on Tate, is that big sharp curve?
Yes.
Is that the one we had the problem with the bike path we
That's
wanted to
where
put
we-
around there?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I got a
And-
question.
And that wasn't approved because we didn't want to do it the way the state wanted us to do it, is that correct?
I'm not sure about the bike path part of it, multi-use path.
Okay, so is this a metal
It would be
guard
replacing the wooden one that's there.
with a
with the approved steel guardrail for NC, that NC.
Just like NC State puts up other places?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very on.
But the problem, when we were trying to do the bike path, was the fact that the state wanted the type of end onto them was a square end, I guess.
The
Crash
end.
type, yeah. And I don't think there was room or something, for some reason it couldn't be done.
It was an excuse for not approving, because it was a conflict in what we were doing is what it was.
Is that what it was?
Yeah,
Okay.
Well, I gotta ask a question.
ask a question.
What do you mean with conflict, what we were doing? Conflict, what do you mean?
Bike path.
Okay.
Do you
Can we-
remember she come up with the idea that you had to, you couldn't straighten it out that much before you got to the end of it? And you go look at the ones DOT's got around, and they're just like, a lot of places, like she was saying, that we couldn't do
Yeah.
them.
So can we engineer this thing and have it put there for the possibility of the future, having a because that's the only section, Killed Over Hills is going clear on down to,
We can engineer anything, and what I can do, I can break this up and just, the worst area is the ones on West Eckner. Those are the ones by the culvert that are right there along that little creek that, the golf course uses to, water the golf course itself. It's just wooden handrails there, and they're starting to rot. It's just wooden railing that was put
Oh, so
there.
you were gonna put one on each side there where those wooden guardrails are, across that bridge, right?
Yes, sir.
And then, what condition is the bridge in? What,
The culvert's in really good shape, and the bulkhead itself is in good shape, but the rail is terrible shape.
okay.
Is the rail required?
Yes, sir. You gotta have, I don't know how, this rail that's there is not approved.
Well, and that's why I'm asking the question. These are town roads, right?
It is.
Yes.
And the question then is, what function does the rail, I mean, it's not stopping cars from going in the ditch, is it?
What's there right now is not supposed to be.
I don't know what our requirements are for a town road and whether or not you just let them go on the ditch or put up a guardrail.
But what we
I
have,
don't care.
what we use is, DOT standards, what we try to use for all of our roads.
That's what we do for the roads, so, yeah.
For the road surface
We do the
itself.
same standard at DOT.
I
In
don't
fact,
have a problem putting it there if it's needed. I share your concern with the one up on Bay Drive because future commitments.
My thing is, I would love to have one there, just do it, engineer it so we can put a multi-use path there so we can join up with Killed Over Hills.
Understand?
There was a diagram that was done for the bike path and the guardrail.
Okay.
And I think the guardrail was done right as far as I was concerned, but then it put in a certain place so the bike path could go behind it.
Well, I'll get
Right.
with,
You know,
Right.
so
Yeah, that's
we
correct.
can
Yeah.
make sure that you've got the information from all that.
Yeah.
I'll get with Joe and get the plan on that,
Okay.
and I'll hold off on that till we can get some further engineering done on that.
Well, I think it's already been done, really. He's got,
Yeah, the planning for that is
yeah,
done.
everything, the whole plan for the bike path and all was done.
Absolutely. We can do
Okay.
that.
Okay, so we need a motion to allow him to
Yes.
use this for our DOT's.
Yes, sir.
So
You
moved.
can do that.
Second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
County Attorney, you've been awful quiet tonight. You got anything to say?
I'm gonna stay quiet. I don't have anything for you tonight.
Okay, Richard.
I don't have anything, thank you.
Irvin?
Just got to ask the question. I have, and I'm sure y'all have too, received a lot of calls concerning possible beach nourishment. What's it called now? Everyone got to go by different.
Storm damage reduction, and that keeps it from being what the people west of us think is just nourishing beaches for rich folks.
Okay, so we're fooling them by saying it this way.
Supposedly. That's what the engineer said anyway.
Anyway, I'm sure that y'all, as well as myself, I've received quite a few calls from businesses as well as also independent citizens. Want to know what we're doing and if anyone has any updated status on beach nourishment in the town of Kitty Hawk they would like to share with the public. Not trying to put anybody on the spot.
You looking at me or him?
I'm looking at both of y'all.
I haven't heard anything more from the county pertaining to that. I know that we definitely are going to have some assistance from the state, perhaps the state and the county to accomplish that. That's what we want to do, but.
I will tell you that John and I attended a meeting down at Kill Devil Hills, it's been some weeks ago, with the engineer, what is that, Coastal Science?
Coastal Engineering.
Coastal Engineering, there's about 4 of them, so I'm not sure which one it was. But anyway, they went through a brief dissertation on what's required and how, if the town of Kitty Hawk was added to the existing program that's ongoing at Kill Devil Hills, what difference it would make dollar-wise and how it would flesh in and those sort of things. The next step now is to try to get together with some information on, and we're doing that, what easements have been taken, you know, what do we have, and John has got a folder of that. But basically, here's the bottom line. From Kill Devil Hills line south, going north, to the beach house, there's no public access. So a federal project wouldn't have worked there. That was a taper in the federal project. From the beach house, no, from Historic, I'm sorry, let me go a little further north. From Historic Street north, there are no known easements for beach nourishment. And that makes sense because the Corps of Engineers was looking at those things where the cost-benefit ratio would benefit enough to justify pumping sand on the beach. So that didn't happen. So what you've got in essence is the south half of Kitty Hawk from the beach house south has some data from the federal project. The north half has nothing. North half would definitely have to be a local project, state, federal, or state or local or some of that nature. The south half, you might be able to get on the Kill Devil Hills 206 program, which is a reimbursement. You put the money in and ask for the government to give it back if they meet all the criteria. So Kitty Hawk's kind of split in 2 pieces. Neither one of them easy. And no money. The county's getting ready to do S-curves in Buxton. The Beach Nourishment Fund has an obligation to Nags Head right now for another 4 years. The county will be using most, if not all, of what's there right now for the S-curves if they do that project in Buxton, if they do it. We're entitled to some of that, but in order to do the upfront, we would have to do, at our own cost, the engineering and pay 25% of the cost and those sort of things, which we're talking multi-million dollars just to get that far. And then we're talking probably $12 to $13 million to pump sand.
I thought it was more like 18 or 20.
Well, if we tacked on the Kill Devil Hills.
Kill Devil Hills.
Okay, so, I mean, that's where we're at. More discussion is needed and more research is needed and a source of dollars. Bottom line, dollars. It don't happen without dollars and Kitty Hawk ain't rich enough to do it. And that's the bottom line right now. So if we don't get money from a beach nourishment fund from the county through the occupancy tax or some other fund opens up, I don't know if I'll see it in my lifetime, but we are pursuing avenues to see what we can do to make it happen.
They never did add the other 1 cent tax on the occupancy, did they?
Not to my knowledge.
But that was approved to be done, but they haven't done
That
it.
was approved to be done. They're sensitive to the real estate, the realtor market. They're sensitive to when to do it so that the real estate folks have time to work it into their reservation system because people, book a year ahead. So they want to be able to do that and not surprise people with another tax once they get down here on top of what they already paying.
Got it?
Thank you. You answered my question.
That was more than you wanted, wasn't it?
No, I mean, but, we have it's on a lot of people's minds now.
I
One time
understand
it
that.
was a taboo kind of thing, back when we had to vote to get rid of the 1 cent tax, which was the deal. That was the deal. So now it's being brought up again, so.
Well, what's changed the dynamic is Nags Head's
Sure,
project.
yeah.
And so far, that's holding some good, and people now want it here. But it took, 20 years to get there. And we've got the split of Kitty Hawk. That's two separate things with data missing in one half and some data that might be usable in the other half.
Right.
That's simple.
Well, thank
Do
you.
you have anything else?
That's it.
You have anything else?
Yes, I do have one thing. I want to thank staff for setting up for the Tourist Bureau meeting we had a week or so ago. The Tourist Board came here. Anna Sadler wants to go from town to town during the course of her chairship, and we were on tap, and staff put it together, and I thank you, because I know that was extra work. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
And it was well received, and we had a lot of people, more people in the audience than we normally have. So thank you for that.
Anything else?
Nope.
Okay. Public comment. Anybody for public comment again? Okay, a motion to recess, and we will not be having a DOT meeting after our recess meeting at 11 o'clock on the 11th. So, motion for recess to 11, March the 11th.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. You're off of white too, Richard.